Welcome back, everybody, to On the Perf podcast. We got a good one for you because I got to go shoot the High Desert Championship up at one of my favorite ranges. And when I say favorite, I mean the range that I'm always excited to get to and also always excited to leave. The Parma Rod and Gun Club in Parma, Idaho, site of the not anymore Get Your Drinks Ready MGM Ironman. But before we get to all of that, most of our stories, which, you know, these big matches are where the stories come from, so that's all right. But before we get to that, as always, we are brought to you by Atlas Gunworks and big news, my Apollo, not the loaner Apollo, my Apollo is officially on order. Woo! So stoked. It's on the way. Done in all murdered out DLC black, like a good double stack 1911 should be. Although the two-tone that they sent me the demo in did look pretty cool. I was very tempted, but I'm just gonna go straight murdered out because as Killer Mike says, black on black on black with a ski mask. That is my correct look. But I'm not even gonna attempt to try to rap. But Run the Jewels is awesome. I also listened to Run the Jewels 4 on the drive back. I almost never listen to like actual whole albums anymore. That album is like an album. Like it's a story front to back. It's so good.
Oh.
It's so good. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of any album where it's like every song sort of builds on the last and there's like a through line to it. And yeah, and Killer Mike and LP are just bringing it in that one. But before we get there, my co-host, Mr. Adam Maximus Maxwell, coming in with the Gary of the day. What do you got for us, Max?
All right, so here's the deal, folks. Gary of the day. If you press check your gun when you make ready and you jack a live round out onto the ground.
I have definitely done this with PCCs because I'm used to like press checking an AR.
Oh,
yeah. I go back the normal half length and I'm like, whoop, there it goes around.
Yeah. If you very carefully load your gun, press check, and you jack your Barney round out on the ground, you are the Gary of the day.
So is it more Gary if you then unload your gun in re-Barney, or what's the move here? If you've already done it, you've already pulled it off. Like, is there any recovery, or do you just go up, down one?
No, I mean, it's bonus points. It's bonus Gary points if you don't load it. Like, you thought it was important enough to load it all the way up, and then you jack the round out, and then you're like, F it, I don't need that one. Yeah, you're super Gary then.
Solid. I'm into it.
Also, however, the one that always gets me that I see people do all the time, I don't know that it's quite Gary because I see very established shooters do this. When they make ready, they load from their second, or they load from their last pouch. Yeah, they load from their last pouch, they Barney that one, and then they grab the next full mag, and then they leave the oh shit mag is as absolutely far in the back as possible.
So they have an empty mag pouch. They got like mag 1, mag 2, empty space, mag 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Replenish that stuff. Move it up.
Yeah, I mean, keep that ammo flowing, towards the gun. Not quite Gary, but I always look at it and be like, come on, man. Like, you tried really hard to have that double alpha speed pouch on your belt, but you're not even putting it in the right spot.
There is a great, I'm sure you've watched the old, I think it was actually on TV, but it's all on YouTube, the Hot Shots series that had like Max Michel and the Steel Challenge one where they had our boy from across the pond. I'm freaking blanking on his name right now. French dude crushes everybody.
Oh, shoot. Now I'm going to forget to Eric Graffel.
Yeah. So it had Graffel on there, and, they're all shooting downloaded to 10 because it's Pro-Am, not Steel Challenge, Pro-Am. And so Eric Graffel's got all these mags on his belt, and gets into the last position, and I think he had added more mags in the front instead of the back. So he gets in the last position, runs dry, reaches towards the back, and just starts panic sweeping around his body. Timer goes off, and then as the timer goes off, realizes that as he was loading through the stage, he grabbed mags 2, 3, 4, 5, and never grabbed mag 1. So mag 1's right there in the front, ready to go, full of ammo. And but that the standard loading technique is to go down and that you have a spot that you always go to because that's always mag 1, and then you start sweeping across. And I saw that, and I was like, oh, thank God he did that too, because when I switched to open, and I'd no longer had a big shot shell caddy across the front, and my pistol mags moved towards the front, I started doing that, where I would skip the front mags and I would go to the normal, on the left hip mag position where my mag always was, and basically load my mags backwards, like from the back to the front, which is not an efficient way to do that at all. So it took me a minute.
The first thing that popped up into my mind when you brought that up, the hot shots, is the Gary from Jerry, where he's at that same match and he's shooting a revolver, and Jerry's quote unquote snap cap is he puts a cleaning patch between the firing pin and his hammer in his revolver to kind of cushion the blow.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
So different match, but yeah.
Yeah, so he comes up, beep, and he comes up, click, 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 and he's like, looks at his gun, click, 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 and he's like, didn't know what to do. And you kind of have to put it together from two videos, but he's like, I didn't take my snap cap out. And no, like, a snap cap is like a faux cartridge that you put in the chest. So that didn't make sense, but like if you look in some of his other revolver videos where he talks about putting the snap cap in there, he kind of retells the story. And yeah, he essentially didn't take out his little patch. His little cleaning patch before the match.
Interesting. I never knew that. I just
Super Gary from Jerry
or something. Yeah. Like we say, Jerry does some Gary shit, but Jerry ain't no Gary. Okay.
That's a fact.
On to the match. So, High Desert Championship. Anybody who's been watching me for a while knows that I have a weird record with High Desert. So I've shot the match, I think probably 5 or 6 times. I have at least 1 W there, maybe 2. I'm not actually sure. I have at least a couple of seconds. I got a third. I feel like always kind of like on the boxish, but I've always shot it in TAC. And then in 2022 is when I switched to open division. I drove up there to shoot it. I slipped a disc in my back in the Airbnb the night before walkthrough day, and was like barely able to function. We actually went over to our friend's house, and I stayed at her house for 2 days. She was 8 months pregnant and taking care of me because she was so much more mobile than I was. So I was just soup sandwich. Didn't make the match. So I haven't shot this match since 2021, because then in 23 and 24 we were on the road trip, and now it's 25. And I was very, very excited to get back to it. I had forgotten, much like we talked about with all of the really old matches where it's like, oh, these were amazing and they were so awesome, but like the lore is sort of like passed down verbally, and the shitty stuff you kind of forget, and the great stuff gets overblown.
Here it comes.
I have forgotten the amount of shenanigans that takes place. I think it's just that range. And, like we talked about some other matches, like Parma is one of those like Galapagos Islands style ranges where like the people there shoot matches there and they kind of don't go anywhere else. So the match is sort of like evolved in its own little ecosystem. And it is like state of the art from 2003.
I am not very well internationally traveled, but I have been to Galapagos, and that absolutely checks out.
Yeah,
absolutely. That analogy absolutely checks out.
So we are gonna talk about all things Parma, all things High Desert, and let me preface this with Aaron is awesome, the match director.
Yeah,
Aaron Goodfellow, awesome dude, super nice, super hard worker, puts on a humongous match. I ended up in second place to Tim Ramberg by a calibration call, and I shot for 24 minutes. So that was second place, was 24 minutes on the clock.
Wow.
So, big stages.
Yeah.
I bet I shot somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 rounds of ammo between the 3 guns. I shot well over a case of slugs.
3 guns or 4 guns?
4 guns. That's true.
Boy. It's the only 4-gun match.
Woo! I shot 400 rounds of my precision rifle ammo. I probably shot 30 rounds of my hoser stuff because almost all the targets are either very hard or past 100 yards or a spinner. So you need the heavy stuff. I shot well over a case of shotgun bird shot. I shot something like 30, maybe 40 slugs. I shot 5, 10, 15, 20, probably like 25-ish. No, more than that. Let's see. Stage 1 had 5. Stage 2 had 5. Stage 3 and Stage 4. Those are the other ones. Yeah, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 25 6.5 Creedmoor rounds and a grip of pistol. Like, I bet I put 500 rounds of pistol through the gun.
Hell
By
yeah,
the way,
brother.
zero problems. I shot the Loner Apollo in the match, and it was amazeballs, as we talked about during the episode that I recorded at the match while I was dying of heat exhaustion in the back of the van.
Shot that thing like it owed you money.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get into a couple of let's call them areas for improvement, which I did tell to Aaron and other people did, and Aaron is he has reached out to me every single year I've shot this and come up to me and been like, how can I make it better? How can I make it better? So he's on the path to making better, and he really has. You will not believe this, but there were real stage diagrams not drawn with a crayon or a Sharpie or a felt tip pen or even a pen or a pencil, like computer generated stage diagrams. Like, and like full map key in the front that this is what a spinner looks like on the diagram. This is what a pepper popper looks like. So yeah,
wow.
So he got a guy to do full stage diagrams. Some of the
we
stages,
get a sync clap for that for Aaron? Like,
nice job, buddy. Some of the stages were big enough that they took 3 sheets of paper to show one stage, which
these are just these are monster stages.
They're so big, you guys. They're so big. So
I think my record with high des, I went to the first one. I should have checked, knowing this is probably what you're going to talk about. I have the trophy. I think I won limited. Maybe second place. I don't know. Cordy Leaper may come in here and correct me. But I shot the first one, and I think I was kind of bitter that it wasn't Iron Man. And so didn't really, it had first year match things. And then I don't think I was back until last year. And then last year I was like, oh my God, I know it's still rough around the edges, but I still love it so much. I'm going to try and make it back. There's 2 reasons I didn't go this year. One, it is way too close to an immovable object in my professional schedule. And my local club also decided to put on the Wisconsin State section that same weekend. So otherwise, to me, it is must attend. If you like our show, it's must attend. If you at all can.
It is. I have never left that range and even remotely been like, I wish I would have shot more.
It's probably straight Stockholm syndrome. Like, we are absolutely battered spouses at this point from this match, but like
100%.
But we're going again. We're going again.
We're definitely driving back.
Oh yeah.
And this is like, honestly, for me, this is the kind of match, like, because the stages are so huge, I'm willing to give it a lot of leeway.
Yes.
If this match was a match that I had to, for example, this match has some of the problems that the Rocky Mountain had the last time I shot it, and I'm not going back to Rocky Mountain, but I will go back to this match. And the only reason is this is 5 hours from my house, and Rocky Mountain's 14 hours from my house. Like, This is within the circle that I'm willing to go through a lot of shenanigans because it is a logistically simple match for me to get to, with like one or two extremely minor, almost just straight up rule set changes. It would be a match that I would be willing to fly to and eat like a fourth bag fee.
Yeah,
Like,
well, and
it's
like
so close to being amazing.
what got me back in the day to go to the Ironman the first time was Travis Gibson's little blurb on Three Gun Nation saying, my dad got tired of driving to all these matches all over the country and you only got to shoot like 300 rounds. He's like, I'm going to do a match where you get to shoot 1,000 rounds. And I'm like, I am so down for that, you know? So it's like, it's kind of like a pilgrimage, but like this is like the Thanksgiving dinner of Three Gun matches. Like, you are not coming away like feeling like you got shortchanged on shooting of anything. Even matches that have high round counts sometimes, it's like, dude, I didn't really feel like I got to shoot my pistol very much, or I didn't get to shoot my shotgun very much. Like, you don't have that. That's not a problem here. There's a fourth gun. There's a fourth gun. You know, like,
there's a fourth gun. Yeah. So for the record, rifle, pistol, shotgun, you are going to shoot all three of those a bunch. You're going to shoot some very hard rifle. The hardest regular rifle shot, I would say, was 460 yards, which was not actually the longest rifle shot, but it was on like an 8-inch plate at 460 yards. It might have been a 10-inch plate. I mean, it looked pretty small through the 10 power scope. So like real hard rifle shooting, where this is one of those places too where you're holding like real wind. I mean, like to hit that shot, I held 1.5 mil of wind. So
one of two places I've held real wind.
Yeah. So you hold
in
real
a
wind there.
Match.
And then on 4 of the stages, there is a bonus gun, which can be whatever you want it to be. So a lot of people are shooting like a 6 arc. A lot of people are shooting 6.5 Creedmoor. It can be a gas gun or a bolt gun, but it makes sense for it to be a gas gun. And then the longest poke with that was 890 yards. And those are rapid shooting on long targets because it is 5 hits per target. And on the last stage that we shot, which was stage 2, which is a school bus, it was really fun because the shooting positions, like I've been shooting some NRL Hunter, shot one of those matches before this, and it's all like super sketchy, terrible shooting positions. And this was like off of a bench essentially. And so this position was super stable, and I got one of those big old JP 6.5 gas guns, and it just runs great. And so I would basically like send a sighter, and then if it hit, it would just go pop, 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 and I would just run 4 out of the gun as fast as I could keep the reticle on the target, and then just strip it and leave. So in my video, I'm like 3 steps away from the bench, and you can start hearing the clang, clang, clang of the bullets coming in. And my buddy Jeff, who was on glass for me, calling corrections. Yes, this is. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna get through this, and I'm gonna clarify some helping stuff here. So my buddy Jeff was on glass, and afterwards he's like, "Oh, dude, that bolt gun was awesome," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man. It felt really good." He's like, "No." He's like, "You don't understand. I saw trace from 3 rounds in the air at the same time." Like all 3 of them were still on the way to the target, and I saw them coming in like missiles, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I wish we had video," because the sun it was like pretty early morning, like low light, and so just like the atmospherics for it were freaking perfect. And yeah, he's like, "It's the sickest thing I've ever seen through a scope."
Yeah, which is like, it's super cool. You will not do that anywhere else on the 3-gun circuit, but it's also shenanigans number 1 of the match. The multiple engagements on long range targets. Which is also no strobes.
Yeah, pretty much impossible to correctly call. Yes. So it's a thing. Actually, it might have been the RO that told me that because he was also on glass, but I think it was Jeff. But yeah, so that was that. Some very tight shotgun no shoots, like some IPSC world shoot level, half of a plate at 25 paces level tight shotgun no shoots. A lot of them. There's a spinner with a hole in it. And then there's a no-shoot behind the bottom plate of the spinner. There's some things like that where it's like some things are like, oh, this is really cool. And then some things are just like you just have to get lucky. And I don't like lucky. I don't like lucky at all. Not a fan. I'm super down for a really hard shooting challenge. Lucky is bullshit. Don't like it. By the way, I did not shoot that no shoot.
Nice.
But to get into this a little bit, to talk about how hard this thing was, you and I are fine with spinners. Most people aren't. Most people find spinners to be extremely difficult. This was a 9-stage match, and there were 18 spinners in it. So you had, on average, 2 spinners per stage. So you needed to be okay with spinners. Like, it just had to be not a big deal. You know the evil plate rack? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The triple layer one.
So no, the no shoot plate rack. So he has a plate rack here. It's like a KYL rack where each of the plates are smaller, but what it really is each of the plates are the same size and they have a smaller hole in them. So there's a 10-inch, an 8-inch, a 6-inch, a 4-inch, and a 2-inch. Except the plate is the no shoot and the target is behind the plate. So you have to shoot through the hole in the plate to hit the target behind the plate. And if you shoot anywhere around it, then you hit the no-shoot plate. And you can shoot the no-shoot plate as many times as you want and just keep racking up those 5 seconds for each one, right?
Yeah.
You had to shoot the evil no-shoot plate rack left-handed.
Oh, what's the problem?
Yeah. So there's some of that. On stage 1, there were a bunch of people timed out on a bunch of stages. I bet... If I were to guess, I bet less than 20% of this match didn't time out on some stage. My entire squad, except for me, and I was on a pretty good squad. I wasn't on a squad of slubs. I was on a pretty good squad of solid mid to upper mid pack shooters. My entire squad timed out on stage 1. I was the only one to shoot all the targets.
And par time is 300 seconds.
300 seconds, yes.
Yeah.
Which, so, I mean, I think there was, I think it kind of went a little over the top in that, it sort of had that, Brian Nelson hard as hell thing where it's this is an awesome stage, and then you sprinkle a little bit of extra into it and took what would have been, a great stage and just kind of wrecked it. So
Yep.
stage one, for example, there was a shooting area around the outside perimeter, a bunch of rifle, a bunch of pistol, a bunch of shotgun, a bunch of very hard shooting, which I'm fine with. And then there was a wobbly bridge in the middle, and then you had to shoot some targets with each of the guns from the wobbly bridge. And I'm talking 75-yard offhand 10-inch plates with the rifle, flying clays with the shotgun, tight partials with the pistol, hard shooting off the, and I'm just if the wobbly bridge wasn't there and there was just a path around the outside in the regular shooting area and you just shot all the targets you saw them, this would have been an amazing stage.
Does that wobbly bridge just live in that bay? Because that's where it was last year too.
That'd be my guess. It seems like it's a real pain in the ass to move, but they do have a big forklift that they move around plate racks and stuff with. Oh, there's a whole new bay there, too. I don't know if it was there when you were there, but remember where the slide used to be?
Yeah.
So there's to the right of the slide, underneath where the zip line still is, there's a whole nother bay there now. So there's a berm between the slide and the zip line.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, a whole nother bay. So it's pretty sweet. Also had the world's sketchiest shoot house. You've been in that shoot house before.
Oh, yeah.
And we're gonna talk about the shoot house in a minute because actually one of the ROs sent in a listener question which we're going to address because it is very timely and an awesome question. So, now the things I love about this match: humongous stages, a ton of rifle, a ton of pistol, a ton of shotgun. You know how we talk about some matches become rifle matches? There is more rifle shooting in this match than any other 3-gun match you're going to go to for long range rifle. But there's maybe double. I shot 400 rounds of precision rifle ammo. I usually travel to a major with 100 rounds of precision rifle ammo and fly home with 50. But there's also so much pistol and shotgun that it doesn't seem like it's a rifle only match. Right. So it's just all of the guns and a metric shit ton of all of the guns.
That This
So
match
that,
is the
like-
only reason I got the thermal dissipator on my JP back in the day.
yeah, this is the match for it. So that's what I love about this match. The people up there are awesome. Almost all of the ROs are awesome. There's a couple who aren't. You know who you are. But all the rest of the guys are great dudes. Aaron's an awesome dude. The other competitors over there are awesome. It's got a sweet like camping scene down there on a nice little grassy area where everybody hangs out after each day and sits around and talks about their days. I hung out with my buddy Philip Vollmer and his family and his 2 awesome dogs, and ate steaks and drank and just had a freaking awesome time. It was good. It's getting better every year. Like the prize table's getting better every year. There's real stage diagrams and everything. It's getting like a little bit more cleaned up and buttoned up every year. And there's a couple things that really, really, really need to be changed. So I already told Aaron these. Hopefully Aaron's listening to the podcast. But there's just a couple things that if you really want to grow it, like these things kind of have to go away. So thing number 1, I have been shooting at a pretty high level for like 13 years in this sport.
Oh boy.
If I can't walk up to a stage and read the stage description and figure out how the stage should be shot, you've gone too far. The stage descriptions were like just like 30 to 40 sentence blocks of text describing how the stage. So it's a lot of like, imagine like giant IDPA where it's like, shoot this thing from that box, then shoot this thing from that box, then go under it and shoot this thing from under this car and all the things. And it was confusing enough. Like if it was an IDPA stage, you'd be like, oh, that from there and that from there and that from there. But when you multiply that and create a 300-second stage out of it, it makes it super hard to figure out what to do. And then there's also a lot of like unclear rules. So I had people coming up to me being like, dude, how do I shoot this stage? I'm like, I don't know, bro. I've been here for 45 minutes and I'm not sure yet. So that was one of the things I talked to Aaron about was like, hey, designate certain types of targets. And my idea was just like paint the stands. Like, because, you know, there's sometimes the KDs are pistols, sometimes they're shotgun, and sometimes the plate Rex pistol, sometimes shotgun, sometimes spinner pistol, whatever. So I'm like, hey, just go around to the can of paint. Everything that's pistol, paint it blue. Everything that's rifle, paint it red. Everything that's shotgun, leave it gray. Like something like that, where it's like that you can just walk into the bay and figure out what needs to be shot, and then just have like shoot it from within the shooting area. That thing right there, I think would have saved so many people, because so many people were confused about what needed to be shot with what, and that confusion would occur during the shooting part. And then, you know, because it's a coaching match, there's 5 different people yelling at them, you know, run back and shoot that thing, and it was kind of a mess in a couple places. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2, this is the 3rd time in a row where I have gotten absolutely kicked in the nuts by poppers. This match has no calibration calls, and steel must fall to score. So I've had this multiple times at this match. I've told Aaron every single year, man, this has to go. Every single year it bites me. This year it cost me a W. And to be fair, I did several other things which also cost me a W. If I didn't do any of these things, I would have won. But I did all of the things, so I didn't. But this is like, if I just took these 2 popper penalties off, I'm just like, that would have been it. And it just freaking kills me because it happens every year. I shot there was just a wall of poppers. I'm talking 30 of them that you just like shot down with your pistols. You just stood in 2 spots and you just went ting, 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 and you just shot down a wall of poppers, which is so much fun. So much fun. The best ever. And you couldn't just rail on them, but because behind them there were shotgun poppers with activated clays. So if you missed one of the pistol poppers and you shot down the shotgun popper and shot that clay in the air, you got 2 FTEs for the shotgun popper and the clay that you didn't shoot at.
That's new.
So which I was kind of okay with that. Like that was like just an interesting challenge, but I felt like it was a little bit too penalized. But I had 2 poppers in this array that were just they're those poppers that you shoot and they come off the base, and they were just like reset incorrectly / their old steel, and they're just kind of janked. I dropped like somewhere between 5 and 7 rounds into each one of them at like 13 splits, and they just wouldn't go down. So standing reload plus 2 missed penalties on steel, which was 20 seconds in that stage, and then that was it. That was the gap between me and first. So
and then they went and adjusted it after you shot.
Yep, and then they fixed them, and then everybody shot them, and they went down, and so that was fun.
That's bullshit.
So that was bullshit. I was real salty starting right there, and that was stage 1. So I was not gonna lie, I was pretty salty for most of this match. Like I was having fun with my boys, and I liked shooting the stages, but there was a couple things that I was like, no, man, no.
Well, because you had a salty experience on walkthrough day, right?
Yeah, I mean, salty experience started on walkthrough day, and then it went to,
and you didn't recover.
Yeah, and then it went to and then I was recovered by day 1, and then this happened on the first stage, and I was like, okay, we're just going to be salty for 3 days in a row. This is going to be fun. But I did shoot very well on day 1, like super good on day 1. I think I won 3 or 4 stages and was like 99% on one of them, and then day 2 was catastrophically bad. So turns out, did you know that if you fall down while running through the trenches in Parma powder and you have a 20 round shotgun mag on your belt, ammo down, and it scoops through the powder, when you put that in your gun won't run anymore? Did you know that?
I did know that, actually.
Yeah.
From what I know about Parma powder, yeah, I can't imagine anything good would result from that.
so I shoot through this section. I run around the corner, grab the shotgun. I start hosing the shotgun. And right before I did my reload, I just stepped a little bit too far back and just sort of like slipped. And I just like bumped my butt on the berm. Didn't even like fully fall down and didn't think anything of it. And as I was running the magazine up into the gun, I saw like all the dust coming off of it, and I was just like, no. And like, no. I might as well just like scooped up all the mags and all the dirt in both my hands and just throwing it into the chamber. So I did get it cleared out and get through the rest of the stage. Hats off to AK based guns, because they do clear eventually. But it was 20 seconds worth. So I learned a new thing. You know how we always say that if you're talking to the RO, your stage is not going well?
Oh yeah, you're effed.
Yeah, you're effed. Also turns out that if you're blowing into your gun while you're on the clock, also not a good stage.
Yeah, equally bad. Equally bad.
Equally bad. Maybe even worse.
We haven't touched on it on this episode, but Parma powder, normally the enemy of mags would be sand, like grit. Normally that's what I'm watching out for. If you come locally here to Winnequa Gun Club, we have a lot of sand. Parma is not that. It's powder.
It's like baby powder.
Yeah, it's like not abrasive.
It's flour.
Yeah, it's very fine
it's dirt.
silt. And I don't know what it is about it. It makes no sense to me, but that stuff shuts down guns. It doesn't add up. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's just kind of whatever." That dust anywhere else in the country, not a problem. Here, big problem.
Yeah. Terminal for sure. So that happened. So then I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to use my loading time to run over here and clean this gun out really quick. So I cleaned it out. What I thought was good enough, turns out wasn't. On the next stage, I had 3 failures to eject. All 3 of them happened immediately after shooting activators. So 3 FTE clays like in a row. It's like it was so bad. I was so bummed. I was like, oh man, yeah, that's definitely one where you can hear me dropping some F-bombs in the match footage. I was like, God damn it, dude.
Well, and that's some of the stuff, like, in addition to the obvious, like, that bums me out just because, like, that's what I show up for. Like, I want to try and shoot 3 activators and get 3 clays in the air. Like, that's my shit.
This wasn't the thing. I didn't shoot 3 activators and put 3 clays in there. I shot an activator, and then it went click, and then I cleared it. Couldn't shoot the clay. Then I shot a bunch more steel. Then I moved positions. Then I shot an activator. It went click. Couldn't shoot the clay. Cleared it. Shot a bunch more steel. Then I moved positions. Shot another like in 3 totally separate positions. Just the one it did it on. It's not like I had one malfunction with 3 clays in the air. This happened 3 times. It just all happened on activators.
Yeah, your gun just selectively decided to phone it in on the activators.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, actually, I've stopped putting multiple clays in the air in Parma just for that reason, because it's just that stuff gets into everything and you never know when it's going to get you. And if it gets you on a static, you're fine, and if it gets you somewhere else, then you're just totally boned. Yeah, so that was quite the bummer. And then the third stage of the day, I went over to shoot. One of the things that Aaron always does that I'm super not a fan of is there's always left-handed shooting. One year he just drew lines down the middle of the stage, and it was like everything on the right hand on the side of the stage had to be shot with your right hand. Everything left hand on the side of the stage had to be shot left-handed, but you could see the right side stuff from the left and left side stuff with the right. So what it really meant was you ended up doing like 9 shoulder transitions in the course of the stage, which was like way too much. And I mean, I don't like that stuff at all anyways, but I'm like, whatever. So there was a minimal amount of left-handed shooting here, which I liked. So the evil plate rack, there was a small shotgun array of like 3 poppers and an activator and a clay. That seemed fine. And then there was 4 targets on a KYL rack at 100 yards that you shot once over the top of the doghouse and once through the doghouse, once right-handed and once left-handed. So if you're going to put left-handed stuff in the match, a reasonable amount, like just sprinkle in a little bit to make you learn how to do it. I learned 2 things. Thing number 1, if you're shooting your rifle left-handed at long-range stuff, probably just dial back and shoot it on 1 power, because getting eye relief when you don't shoot long range and you're in this weird rollover prone thing shooting through doghouse, pretty hard. So should have done that. Thing number 2, I can't see over the top of the doghouse at Parma. So I came into this position, dropped the rifle on there, squared up, and went, fuck, dude, I can't see over the doghouse. And so I had to like crawl up on a little beam thing and stand on my straight up tippy toes, roll the gun over sideways, and I shot the 100-yard KYL rack with my offset red dot to be able to get behind things, because I couldn't get any eye relief off the scope. And it actually went like quite well once I figured out how to do it. But yeah, so those were my 3 stages on day 2. So I went from like absolutely massacring everybody to just getting completely kicked in the nuts. And then day 3 went pretty good, and I was shooting like I meant it, and just wasn't able to claw it back. But the last stage was there's a school, but was a school bus down in Bay 2 when you were there before?
Yep.
So a bunch of shooting through a school bus. So some long range. You shot shotgun and pistol out of the school bus, then you ran under, then you shot under the school bus, and you shot some rifle, then you ran back in and you shot rifle from inside the school bus. Which brings me to some of the other weirdness. There didn't seem to be a real consistent process for safety stuff. So, for example, ditching guns. A normal match will say either every gun has to be ditched on safe. That's kind of pretty standard. Sometimes they will say if your stage plan has you go in front of the gun, you need to completely clear it out. That's fine. I'm cool with that. This one, every gun individually on every stage, it was dictated how you had to dump the gun, and it might not even be the same for every gun. So, for example, on one stage, you had to dump the pistol completely empty, but you could just safe and dump the rifle, and they went in the same dump box. And if you didn't empty out the pistol, it was a 30-second penalty. So there was some stuff like that where I'm just like, what the, like, just pick a way.
Yeah.
And just apply it throughout the match. Like that's all I ask. Just let me know what I need to do for this match. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. But there were just too many rules on each stage. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that's somewhat, I think, too, like, just kind of the loosey-goosiness of Outlaw ROs. Because even if his intention was to run it a consistent way, soon as the RO on that stage runs it a certain way, and be like, the thing is like, oh, well, this is what I told the first 3 squads. And like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess we got to keep running it that way. But like, when like you say, if you're getting solicited for how do I improve this match, how do I draw more people who come from outside the Magic Valley of Idaho, expect that stuff to be buttoned up and won't be happy. Like, that's kind of the thing. It's like, yeah, you got to decide what it is for this match. And even if it only makes sense in one place, it's like, okay, this is the way things are abandoned or whatnot. Like, yeah, that's some of the kind of it is very old school, drink Iron Man-y. Like, that is how it was, but like time has also moved on, and like, you know, we're better than this now. So it would be nice to see that cleaned up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this one was the closest. Like I said, I've been to like 4 or 5 of them now. Haven't been to one since 2001. This one was damn near Iron Man level stages, like minus a couple percent. I think I bet if I went back and counted my shots in like the last Iron Man shot, I shot, I bet I'm off by like 100 rounds. Like, these were massive stages.
Yep.
And man, like, it's my favorite style of shooting, man. It's like, I love that style of shooting where it's like, you can have, you know, like on that stage where I got 20 seconds worth of popper penalties, I still won that stage. Like, you can, and Tim is fucking good. Like, Tim Ramberg is a savagely good shooter, and also like maybe the nicest guy on earth. He is
Checks
really,
out.
really good. So it's not like, oh, I won because no one else showed up. Like, no, like Tim was there, Bryson was there, some like real deal, very, very good open shooters were there. Actually, Bryson's not an open shooter, but we'll get to that in a minute. And I still won with 20 seconds worth of penalties because the stages are so big that shit is going to go wrong. And I love that so much, where it's like, you're just fighting through to the end of it. And like, only on one of those stages did I finish and was like, that is definitely a stage win. There's no way anybody beat that. On every other stage, I was like, I mean, that could be a stage win, or that could be like 60%. And I honestly have no idea, because just like so much stuff just happened and all of it felt kind of chaotic. And like, it's my favorite style of match, man. These like big giant, like, they're so good, dude. They're so good. You're just so thrashed at the end of 4 stages. Like, you're just beat down.
If you
It's
strap
awesome.
all your stuff to you, you can absolutely shoot your way out of trouble.
Yeah, and you need to roll up with
All of it.
extras on
All of it.
everything. I pretty routinely would walk onto a stage with a mag in the pistol and 3 on the belt, usually 2 big sticks, a mag in the shotgun and 3 on the belt. By the way, 3 shotgun mags is a lot. And then a mag in the rifle and 2 on the belt. Like, just a grip of shooting. Just a
And
grip
Riser's
of shooting.
belt is 28 inches.
Yeah, yeah, and I have a 28-inch waistline. So, somebody decided that what I need to make is like a Deadpool style sword scabbard, except for the 20-round dissident mags. So you just like come over the dude. I need to figure this out, because
Yeah, even if it's not an advantage, it would be super cool.
it would be super cool. Even if it cost me time, it'd be worth the drip, dude. It'd be worth the drip.
Yeah, and the Parma powder wouldn't get that high.
I mean, I'm really not that far off the Parma powder, so I think it still gets to me. Yeah, this is a like pro tip here. Your bags, you open your bag, you pull your guns out, you zip your bag shut so the Parma powder doesn't get in. You shoot your stage, you unzip your bag, you put your guns back in your bag, you zip them shut again. If you put your bags in the gun rack and like somebody just walks past the gun rack, like, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, you need to keep your
rent a
stuff
car.
buttoned up.
Even if you're not driving that far, even if you're not that far from home, rent a car so you don't have to clean that shit out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was in the van, and Jen and I are actually leaving for Canada for 2 weeks tomorrow, and the van was freaking destroyed. And like I brought it home and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I got to go to work. Can you clean the van?
Don't even look at it yet. Let me leaf blower it once.
Yeah. Let me not be in the house while you do this. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was everything I expected. It was a couple of things that I also expected but kind of forgot. Hopefully Aaron buttons those couple things up, because just those 2 or 3 little things would turn this into just the most amazing match ever. Like it's 90% of the way there, but on this scale, like when it's bad, it's so catastrophically bad, and when it's good, it's so catastrophically good that it's not like, oh, that thing was a little annoying. It's like, no, that thing just like destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
And it just needs a couple little things, and it's going to be so freaking good.
It's the highest of highs and it's the lowest of lows.
Yeah, indeed. So quick little wrap up here. Open division. Tim Ramberg, like I said, took home the W. Tim is a savage. Super psyched for him. He's been shooting super good lately. Eked me out. And there were 68 people in open, by far the biggest division. So there are 150 people at the match total. Modern optics / stealth, 27 people. So stealth division is something that was invented for superstition match, and it's a really weird convoluted rule set where it's kind of like you pick the things that you want. So basically you can kind of do whatever you want with your pistol, except it has to go in a box, which means you can either have a dot or long mags. You have to have a shorter tube on your shotgun. You can't just plug it. It has to be a shorter tube. A bunch of really weird stuff. I bet half of open were modified shooters who just said, I don't want to buy 120 mil mags and an 8-round tube. I'm just going to shoot open. Like legitimately half. Like almost everybody in my squad shot open, and none of them were shooting open gear. So Aaron super knows this, and there was almost a riot. I'm joking, but there was a lot of boos and cheers when Aaron started talking about modified division and stealth division at awards, and I am very confident that next year's match will have actual modified division in it. So there's going to be some super happy people there. So that'll be awesome. So 27 people there. Evan Tisler, my old Parma nemesis. We've traded some W's back and forth. Pretty sure he actually has more on me than I have on him. So he needs to come to open so we can rectify that. Scope tack, like we used to do in the olden days. 25 people holding in there, keeping it down. Tim Thomas, one of our OG brethren. We've both shot with Tim out there back in the day. Edged out Nathan Lindman, super good dude, by 3 points.
Nice.
There's 900 points in this match. Tim edged him out by 3, and Nate forgot to shoot at 4 targets on stage 1. And he was fucking livid. Like, as livid as Nate gets anyways.
That's a long drive home right there.
That's a long drive home. Yeah, he was fucking pissed. But Nate's a good dude. And then Aaron Goodfellow, match director, took home 3rd. Aaron's a big dude. Aaron is a big dude. You would not look at Aaron and expect him to be a good competition shooter, but he is. like shockingly good. like he's kind of a like Tamfo Tim style.
Yep.
Where you're like, really? Like that dude's a GM? You kidding me? Yeah, he's like Aaron's kind of like that. It's pretty awesome. You see him walking around, and you're like, oh, look at that guy, and you see him shoot, you're like, holy shit. And then Trooper Division. 19 people. Trooper Division, by the way, for those of you not in the know, because this is a division that exists in very few matches. Essentially, there are no rules. You can shoot all the guns you want. You can stage extra guns. You can stage ammo. You can stage tripods. You can bring whatever you want. There are no rules. But you have to carry it all the entire time. So your gear is stored at the gate, and you have to shoulder that pack with however many guns and all of your ammo for the entire, I can't remember if it's the entire day or the entire match. All your food, you can get water, all spare parts. So if something breaks, that gun's just done. So your parts kit, your cleaning kit, all your stuff has to travel with you. So you're walking around with like 100 and something odd pounds of gear at least all day long. But then, the upside is you get to do whatever you want. So PCC on the pistol target's totally fine. Stage tripod over there, totally fine. Whole shotgun full of slugs just because, totally fine. So Trooper Division's kind of wild. And Kelly Bennett won it. I rolled up to give him the high five and congratulate him. I'm like, dude, you won Trooper. And he goes, thank God, I never have to do that shit again. I finally got the W. so I'm guessing we're going to see Kelly in either open or modified here next year. And limited optics, man, you should have come out and shot limited like back in the day, because you probably could have got the W. And if you didn't, you would have definitely got second place, because there was one dude in limited.
What's limited optics?
Limited.
Oh, it's just limited?
Irons on everything.
Irons and red dots?
Irons and red dots. Well, red dot on the rifle, irons on everything else.
I still miss it. I miss it a little bit.
I can't see well enough to do that stuff anymore, man.
Yeah, it's my favorite, but life took me in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's pretty hard to rep an optics company when you shoot the division that has no optics, isn't it?
It is.
Yep. And and like I said, the prize table has been getting better and better for those people who are hunting for a prize table. I got to pull the fancy prize. Desert Tech laid down a Quattro 15 quad stack rifle on the prize table.
Yeah.
So
shout out Craig Outson.
Yeah, woo, buddy. Craig, by the way, signed up for the match and didn't show because I don't know. I think Craig's kind of getting scared in his old age.
What a loser.
Probably. I know. Jesus. But I got to take the fancy prize because the person who won my division took a trimmer from Henderson Precision. So Todd Henderson came out. He's been out there for a while, and he makes some really, really awesome trimmers. Laid a bunch of those things on the prize table. I have one. They're rad. And a bunch of other great sponsors. It was awesome. Some people really showed up. As did Atlas. They got some shout outs from all the dudes that pulled mags into grip, came out and thanked me on behalf of Atlas for showing up, and so it's cool. Everyone's really stoked. Oh my God, I almost forgot. The freaking Miller High Life shooting team. They're still a thing. They were all there rocking the jerseys. I was so stoked. So if you guys listened to, was it last episode, a couple episodes? The Jersey one, whatever.
I think it was episode 25.
Okay, so episode 25, the Jersey episode, we talked about the Miller High Life shooting team.
Yeah.
And I asked him if the legend was true. And the answer I got was basically it's kind of been blown out of proportion a little bit, but there was free beer. And it did come from Miller. That's about all he told me. He's like there was a lot of free beer, but it wasn't quite that. So it was a thing. It's truthish. How's that? It's truthish. It's pretty close.
It's a true fishing story.
Yeah. Oh, and the other really interesting lesson that I learned at this match. Apparently, the internal length of a 20-round Magpul AR-10 magazine is shorter than a 10-round AR-10 magazine, which makes no damn sense to me. But my 6.5 ammo did not fit in the 20-round mag and did fit in the 10-round mags.
Why, Magpul? Why?
I don't get it. And it's like I brought him back. I put it in the press. I bumped him back by like 0.003. Everything works. It's good to go. It's like they're just a skosh shorter, and it's very weird. I didn't see it coming. I never use them because I'm always going out doing load development. You don't need 20-round mags for load development. And then I went to like load up on a stage, and I was like, the bullets don't go in the box. What the? It was like, so good thing I had the 10-round mags. Otherwise, that would have been a humongous problem.
That was kind of like my weekend. We're not going to launch into a whole other match review of the Wisconsin State Section Championship because, frankly, pistol matches aren't that much fun to talk about unless shenanigans happens. But so I'm shooting staff day, and we're like 8 stages into a 10-stage match. When I roll up to chrono, I'm shooting single stack major with ammo that in my head is the same batch that I shot Western States with last winter. And so I chronoed 173 there, no problem. And so in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this covered. Boom, boom, boom. Like I'm shooting a 200 grain Hornady Hap. Boom, 759. Like, oh, that's not good. Boom, 800. Boom, 800. Boom, 800. That's like 160 power factor. And he's like, well, I guess we're shooting some more. I was like, yep, I guess we are. Boom, 800. Boom, 800. Boom, 800. Boom, 750. Boom, 800. I chronoed 161 power factor. Thinking, yeah, I was like, I got this, no problem. No, I wasn't even close. I think it's a different batch of ammo. I think I chronoed it at 168 power factor, but for whatever reason, this stuff was short. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm glad I learned this now than at Factory Gun Nationals, which is the next place I was going to dip into this ammo can. And I think I have a batch that I chronoed a little bit hotter, but I got time to figure it out. But yeah, that was my weakest. Same thing like with you rolling up with your 6.5 ammo. I was like, oh yeah, this ammo's no problem. And then, oh wait, nope, this is kind of a big problem.
Yeah. It's amazing how fast ammo problems go from no problem to big problem.
Yeah.
There's like not a lot of middle ground. It's either fine or it's super not.
Yeah. And I forgot to bring my 45 minor ammo, my like legit indoor league 128 power factor ammo.
So you're shooting 161 power factor minor?
Yeah, the whole time.
Solid.
And just out of saltiness, I considered using that for the calibration ammo at the match. So like if someone called for calibration to roll up with a 45 and they're going to be like, what? It's like, no, don't worry about it. These are like spit wads.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, I could have used some 45 on those poppers. That would have been nice. So we have a listener question, which
we have
we're going to do at the end of this episode because it is a listener question from the RO at the match, which is awesome. I'm so stoked. So here we go.
Does his name rhyme with Andy?
It does not.
Okay.
His name is Steve. Oh. So Steve asks.
Shout out to Randy.
Yeah. Hey guys, I was the RO at the shoot house, which by the way, props to those dudes because that was the shoot house there is. It's not like a shoot house in the traditional shoot house, like you can flow through the house. The shoot house is like a giant rat maze with like dead ends and shit.
Yeah, it's more like a clown room.
Yes, yes, it is. So I was the RO at the shoot house. Can't wait to hear your breakdown on the match. I tried to be fair and thorough to everybody as I could be for my stage. Just curious if there's any safety points or clarification points that I could have touched on more in the stage brief. I've literally only shot matches at Parma.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
I said, this place is the Galapagos Islands of 3-gun. So I'm in the dark as to what it looks like to break down /RO other matches. Let me know. Great shooting. Since I've been rambling on, I'm going to let you kick it off here. You know what the shoot house on that stage looks like, and there were mandatory retreats with all 3 guns. So after you dumped a gun, you would run back and grab it. So a lot of uprange movement. You ran back into the spot in the middle where there's no exit from, so then you had to run back out 3 corners and exit where you came from 30 feet ago. So you know what that thing's kind of like. What's your thoughts on ROing a super complicated shoot house like that and how to address it from a safety standpoint with your shooters?
I basically, in something like that where if there's a high propensity for an RO trap, I'm basically going to figure out how to be kind of within line of sight or nearby as much of the time as possible and end up where I know you're going to end up when you shoot the last shot. Because, like, I've usually been on the younger side of the age bracket for the ROs, so, like, I'm a prime example, or I'm a prime candidate to get, like, stuck on a jungle run or something like that for the weekend, because the older guys get on the less movement stages. And so, like, I start off chasing everybody, but then after a while, I figure out I can just start walking, and by the time you shoot and stop and move and reload and shoot and stop and move, I can just walk normally and end up where you're going to end up in time to get your last shot. And so if I can do that on that stage, are you going to be alone in that particular shoot house? Maybe not with eyes on for a few seconds. Yeah, probably. But at the same time, like, I don't know that anybody in here is a super liability. Anybody that shows up to this match is a super liability in there. And it certainly doesn't outweigh the risk of you guys, button heads in there and both falling over with loaded guns in the mix. So I really, on something like that, best you can do is best you can do, as long as you're in the right place for the last shot.
Yep, I think so. So Steve did a really good job. The way they did it, so he gave all the clarification for the shoot house. These are the rules. You're going to go through here. You're going to do this. All the rules for, slung rifles and 180 and was it a slung rifle? It was a slung rifle. You had to unsling your rifle in the shoot house as well.
Of course.
And then of course, because why wouldn't you? And he was very good about. He would ask each shooter what their stage plan was, and apparently my stage plan really caught him off guard. I shot it pretty different from pretty much everybody else apparently, but he would ask what the stage plan was, and then when they would go to a spot where they were going to come back to, he would stop there, and he would duck, and he would watch the shooter underneath the walls while he ran and did all kinds of stuff. Because you ran like almost all the way to the end of the shoot house, then you ran almost all the way back to the beginning of the shoot house, then you ran all the way to the end of the shoot house, then you ran back to the middle of the shoot house, then you ran to the end of the shoot house, then you ran out of the shoot house. And there's all kinds of corners and stuff involved in this. So what he would do is, in this particular one, so there was a spot where you shot your shotgun, you dump it, and then you ran backwards with your pistol probably 30 feet. And so he would stop behind the pistol position and just duck and just watch you underneath the walls, because the bottom of the walls are, 3.5, 4 feet off the ground, something like that. So he'd just watch you underneath the walls, and then when you ran back to that position, he would be standing right behind you when you got there. And then he would follow you forward if you were going to stay forward, and if not, he would move to like where you were going to be, and he would duck down and watch you underneath the walls. And I thought for the way the shoot house was laid out and the way you had to move through it, I thought that was the best way to go, because there were definitely spots, because this shoot house actually has like dead ends and stuff in it. There were spots where you could be like running to get out of the way of a shooter and end up in a place where you couldn't. And the only way to get out of the way of the shooter was to go down range of the shooter. So for the way the shoot house was laid out, I thought Steve did a fantastic job. I thought they did awesome. There was a couple stages I had some RO problems with. This was not one of them, Steve. Like, you guys did rad.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like it's more than I would have done.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, they were super on it. And in a nod towards softness, there were 3 places in the shoot house where you had to shoot under the walls. Like, there was a dedicated, like, we painted it green here, and you have to shoot under the walls here to shoot targets that are outside the shoot house.
Yeah, why wouldn't we do that?
Aaron put down carpet in all 3 of those places, so you had a comfy place to kneel
man,
down.
he's getting soft.
Getting soft. I gotta say, on my old age, I did appreciate the carpet.
Which is okay, Aaron. We would appreciate if you would get a little softer around the edges, and that would be just fine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's pretty much it for this one. Unless you got any more questions about this behemoth of a match.
Man, we can go on for days about this match, and we often do. I'm sure what we didn't get to will come up in a future episode, and you'll just have to tune in then.
Yep, exactly. Yep. I mean, like in review, are there shenanigans? Absolutely yes. Are they easily fixable shenanigans? Definitely. Is Aaron going to fix them next time? I sure hope so.
Yeah, maybe.
Am I gonna go next time? For sure. I'm definitely going back to this match, shenanigans or not. If a couple things get unshenaniganed, way more people are going to start going to this match because, I mean, is there another match on the calendar where you can shoot 1,000 rounds of ammo in 3 days?
No.
Not even close. Not even close. So, yeah. In conclusion, I love / hate Parma. Yeah, I think that'll about do it. All right. Well, folks, as we always say, keep the overlays handy.
Because there's not one at Parma.
Rather, because there's not one at Parma. And you might just want to bring some 9 major for the poppers because, fuck you sometimes.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.